everyone, welcome back. I'm so excited for a lot of reasons. I'm always very excited, but today I'm going to show you guys how I made my July Soap Challenge Club soap. It is called the One Pot Wonder, and it was taught by Tanya from Soapish, or inspired by a technique that she did. And the second reason is because I'm showing my face, and I never show my face around here. So it's a little nerve-wracking and scary, but we're here, we're doing it. We're gonna have fun with it. So the Soap Challenge Club is a monthly subscription club for soap makers of different levels from all over the world. It's owned and moderated by Amy Warden, and it's really fun. So every month she invites a soap maker to teach the participants a new technique, and then there's different categories, and we can do those techniques and submit our entries for the categories that we choose, and it's anonymous. So then once everyone has submitted their entries, we can go in and vote, and there's different prizes, you know, best depending on the categories, like best advanced or best regular category or best use of color, and it's just really fun. There's also a monthly sponsor, and this month is Baraka Shea Butter, which I think is awesome. So here is my third try at the soap. I'm not going to show you the first two because they're actually part of my August collection, so you'll see those a little bit later. And they look really pretty, but I did not get the results that I wanted or are expected of this challenge. So I actually decorated the tops with some leftover flowers, piped flowers that I had made. Nothing goes to waste in soap making. And then on the inside you can see the beautiful One Pot Wonder technique. So this is for the regular category. So you can see kind of like the 4 different colors, kind of like this wavy technique. It's so pretty. And then the recipe that I used, the first 2 tries I used my regular soap making recipe, which I know very well. It does have a water discount, so it's a little bit, the time that you have to work with is not as extended, but I know it very well, so I tried it with those. And the first try, the fragrance actually accelerated a little bit, so I didn't get the results I wanted. The second try, I used a fantastic fragrance oil, but I didn't pay attention to how I was supposed to pour the different colors into the one pot. So the results were beautiful, but I didn't get like those separated layers. And then this one I did with my coconut oil recipe, which actually stays very fluid for a long time. It's the one I use for Cocoa Pure, and that's why I went ahead with it, because when I make Cocoa Pure, I have so much working time and I get those really defined, beautiful swirls. So something kind of clicked inside, and I said, let's try it with this, and it actually worked out. And then I also did a water replacement for silly reasons. So I was actually a little bit low on distilled water, and even though things are kind of picking up here in New York City, I didn't want to go out for water because we're still very much deep into the whole COVID situation. So I actually have a bunch of aloe vera juice that a wonderful soap maker gifted to me because she was moving. Well, yeah. And so I decided to do that, which was a little bit risky because if you've worked with coconut oil recipes before, you know that they tend to heat up a lot. And then adding a juice like aloe vera, all the sugars in the juice make it heat up even more. So I risked it, and it turned out perfectly fine because I know this recipe and I tend to work in really like room temperature, so I didn't have a problem with that. But the color of the lye solution was crazy, because when you add something high in sugar in your lye solution, like the lye and the sugars react, and then you get like this bright neon orange solution. But it doesn't really affect like the end result. It kind of like fades out. So yeah, you'll see that, and I think it was really fun. I love this technique. I want to keep exploring it. I think it's really beautiful. It's easy and effective, and if you guys know me, I love that. You know, give me easy and effective any day. Like, that's music to my ears. So yeah, I'm gonna show you guys how I made these, and I hope you enjoy it. I can't wait to see what everyone else in the challenge submits. Voting is really fun because there's so many entries from all over the world, so I'm so excited. So yeah, keep watching and I'll show you how I made the one pot wonder. So as usual, I'm gonna start with kind of laying out the top flowers on another mold. Molds are quite different, but they're the same length, so I can kind of gauge and see where they're gonna go. And now I'm just gonna prep my colors. These are the colors I'm using, and I always prep them in advance just so I can save some time and make sure they're properly mixed. So this is my coconut oil, and right next to it is my lye solution. And like I mentioned, like, the color is insane. So it's just a reaction between the sodium hydroxide and the sugars in the aloe vera. It's not going to end up in the final recipe. It won't affect the color, it kind of fades out. But it's important to strain it because it does get some kind of like bits and bobs in there from the chemical reaction. So I always like to strain my lye solution anyways, just to make sure everything's nice and smooth. And I didn't realize that I didn't do my temperature checks, but my oils were a little bit over 10 degrees warmer than my lye solution. So you can see I'm getting false trace in the beginning, which is a little fussy, and you do need to keep an eye out. It does kind of fix itself. I just keep stick blending until it kind of combines and everything gets back into temperature and it smooths out. But it's kind of the texture of applesauce, so you just have to keep mixing because it means that your oils and your water and your lye, they're not really emulsified. But you can see, look how smooth it already looks. It's just a matter of keep stick blending, have the temperatures kind of like settle down a little bit. This coconut oil recipe, it stays very liquid for a very long time. It doesn't really reach a thin trace, it just gets emulsified. I know how it behaves, so I know at this point we're pretty good to go. But I can keep stick blending this and it's still gonna stay at a very, very thin trace. But I do want to pour these into my colors because that way I can make sure that all the colors are properly mixed. And then I'll add also my fragrance oil. So now I'm just gonna add my fragrance oil, just gonna kind of eyeball it really. I only have 1 ounce of fragrance oil, it's not a huge batch. Because this was my 3rd try, I didn't want to go like full on my regular like 5-pound or whatever. So I'm just eyeballing it and mixing in the fragrance oil. So you can see it's super runny, but that's kind of what I want for this technique. Not too runny though. I am going to stick blend this more and kind of wait for it to thicken up slightly, but I would rather have more time than less. So this is perfect, you know. It's great because it's gonna keep those layers quite separate but still be fluid enough to give me those wavy definitions in the technique that we're going for. So for colors, I use some of my favorites. You guys know these colors very well. I use them a lot. The green is Kombu Green from Nurture. I absolutely love that color. I'm so sad it's been discontinued and I only have like a gram of it left. The darker pink is Guava Lava from Mad Micah's, a fantastic pink. I use it so much. And the lighter pink is Oleander from Nurture, and it's actually quite notorious for kind of color morphing a little bit. I've used it on my sweet pea soap and it actually turned out quite a creamy color. But in this recipe it actually stayed quite pink, and I did add a little bit of purple just to kind of like cool it off a little bit. And then the last color, the lighter blue, is Celestial Silver, and I did add some Imperial Purple Bio Glitter just to cool it up a little bit because it was a little bit grayish. I wanted more of like a periwinkle color. So I'm just going to pour this in a larger jug, and it's very important the way I'm pouring it into the jug, because what happened with one of my previous tries is that I didn't pour it like this, and then the colors, I didn't get the defined separate color layers. So it's important to pour them kind of on the side of the spigot, so when you pour it, you get those defined layers of color, because I learned from experience. This is one of those little details that you really have to keep an eye out for. And as I pour it, you can see the colors stay kind of like in their own little pool. So this is really good. The consistency of the batter is just where I want it. Still quite fluid, but it's keeping its definition. So that's what I was going for. I'm so excited. Yo, and what would it be? It wouldn't be a Lilasuds video if my camera didn't die on me, because I didn't charge my battery. But here's the final soap top. I think it's really cute, and I love that I used up some leftover flowers, because the cool thing about soap making is that nothing goes to waste. Even a failed soap can be rebatched or saved, or, you know, most of the time. And this is the first time I actually used these molds. They were also gifted or passed on to me from another soap maker. So it's not my usual shape. I usually go for like the more rectangular bar, but it was interesting to work with this mold, and this mold is actually quite common in the soap world. It's a nice shape, nice square shape. But I liked the height because working with a more rectangular mold kind of cut down on the height and the sizes of the layers. So that's why I went with this mold, because I had more space to show off those colors a little bit more. And it worked out really great. So I'm cutting the soap 4 hours after I pour it. That's the beauty of coconut oil soap, is you can cut it really quick. So hence the artificial lighting. I'm so sorry. I hate artificial lighting for filming and pictures, but this was being cut at midnight because I made this soap around 8 p.m. and it was the perfect time to cut it at midnight. Usually with my recipe, like a good sweet spot is between 4 to 8 hours. But it was midnight. I was tired. I'm like, it's time. Let's cut this and let's go. But it turned out really pretty. The colors are really pretty. Like, I was going for kind of like a gardeny, romantic color palette. I love how the periwinkle purpley color came out. And yeah, I think it's really cute. I think the flowers on top really pop. Not that the flowers are part of the challenge. We were allowed to decorate the tops however we wanted, as long as it was before cutting the soap. We couldn't add anything after. So yeah, I think they turned out really pretty. The fragrance is Love Spell, which is incredible. If you guys remember my Amore soap from February, that is the same fragrance oil. It's stunning. My house smells so good. I love it so much. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I have so much fun with these soap challenges. It's my second one. I hope I can do more. I kind of take it month by month to see what the challenges are and if I can kind of fit them into my collection. This bar of soap that just fell out of my hands is what I'm keeping for myself because even a flower petal came off. That's the one I'm keeping. I always keep the runt bar. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I can't wait to see what other soap makers make in this challenge. And yeah, we'll see the results soon. Take care, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!